Hey guys, this video is going to be my July wrap-up where I tell you all of the books that I read in July as well as the star rating that I gave them on Goodreads, and then it's also going to be my August TBR where I talk about the books I'm going to read in August. So I actually managed to read 5 books this month, which is awesome and more than I read last month, but 3 of them were books that I received for review, and so only 2 of them are from the 5 that I had in my TBR last month, but still, I read 5 books, so we're just going to focus on that. The first book I read was On Heaven and Earth, Pope Francis on Faith, Family, and the Church in the 21st Century by, I cannot pronounce the names of the authors, but it's Pope Francis, but it's as his name before he became Pope, because it was before he became Pope, and then a Jewish rabbi, and I don't have the actual book to show you because my dad has it, but basically I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because I think it was a really interesting idea. It's just like the 2 of them talking, and it's kind of in like a script format of their conversations, and I thought that was really cool how they did that, and it was interesting seeing them talk back and forth, so I gave that 5 out of 5. The next book I read this month was The Guardian by Nicholas Sparks, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars as well. It was very different from every Nicholas Sparks book that I've ever read, and I think that made it really interesting for me. I'd read A Walk to Remember, which was the first Nicholas Sparks book that I read in years, a few months back, and hated it, so I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this one, but I actually really liked it. The next book I read was 101 Secrets for Your 20s by Paul Angon. I also don't have a copy to show this because it's a review copy that I have on my computer. I didn't bother to put it on my Kindle. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I think it's a great book, like especially if you're in your 20s and like just graduated college, like right after college. I think it's perfect for those people, but even at like 19, I'm not even in my 20s yet, although 4 days from now I'll be 20. I think it is a good book for anyone from like seniors in high school, honestly, because you'll need the advice in the future, to like anyone in their 20s. I think it had some great advice and it was entertaining and I really enjoyed it. The next book I read this month was Destined by Ali Cross, which was the 3rd and final book in the Desolation series, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was not my favorite of the series. My favorite was actually the second one, but I did think it was an awesome ending to the series, and there's a spin-off series of this that I really want to read now. But this book is about, it has a lot of Norse mythology, and it was the first thing that I ever like really read or anything that had involved Norse mythology, and so I thought that was interesting, if a little confusing at times. And then the last book I read this month was another book that I received for review. It was A Pretty Age by Barbara Mueller. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I wasn't a huge fan of the writing style. I didn't like it a lot. It seemed to drag a lot, and it was really like heavy writing. Like it would take a paragraph or 2 to describe something that could be said in 1 sentence, and so I did a lot of like skimming, which I hate, but I could not sit through it all. But the story kept me intrigued enough that I kept reading, and it was a really interesting plot. It's like a mystery, and it takes place in 1910, which is a time period that I don't usually read, in Kansas, which is a setting that I don't usually read, and part of the book takes place at a convent school, so like that all made it really interesting, and it was an intriguing enough storyline that I kept reading, even though I was not at all a fan of the writing style. And now on to the 5 books I'm going to try my absolute hardest to read in August. The first book is the book I'm reading at the moment, which is Wraith Squadron by Erin Alston. It is the 5th book in the X-Wing series, and it's the first one written by this author. The first 4 were all by a different author. And I am this far in it at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. It has different characters than the rest of the series, so it's turning out interesting so far. But I'm filming this on July 31st, the last of the month. You're probably not going to see it until August. So I'm not going to finish all of this tonight. The book I'm going to try to read this month is Goddess Legacy by M.W. Muse. This was a free book on Amazon, which is why I bought it. It's the first in a series. I cannot for the life of me remember what it's about. I'm assuming goddesses. I think it's probably Greek or Roman mythology, but I'm not sure about that. So it'll be interesting, and I probably won't get around to the rest of the series until a long time from And then Disorientation, the 13 Isms That Will Send You to Intellectual La La Land, How to Go to College Without Losing Your Mind, edited by John, I cannot tell what his last name is. The writing is weird. I can't tell what the second letter is supposed to be an M or not, but anyway. Yeah. Oh, here it is on the back. Yeah, it's Zimmerak. It's Z-M, and I don't know how to pronounce Zimmerak, I guess it is. Anyway, I've talked about this in my last TBR, but I have 2 copies of this book because I bought it when I was like a junior in high school, I think. Maybe a senior. And then when I graduated from high school, our priest at our church gave all of the graduates some books that all had, like, not necessarily college, but some of them were, like, this one was college related. And so I have 2 copies. I'm almost positive this is the one I bought. I don't know where the other one is, but I haven't read it yet because it kept getting, like, pushed back. But I haven't read it yet because my TBR is, like, so full with so many books, so I'm finally going to try and get around to this after I've already started college, but I'm sure there's still stuff in here that'll play. The next book I want to read this month is also a free book that I got off of Amazon that is the start of a series. It's the first of the Fireblade Array series, and it's City of Blaze by H.O. Charles. All I can remember is that this is high fantasy, which is kind of obvious from the cover. I think that it just looks like a high fantasy cover. I don't read a ton of high fantasy. I've read a decent amount. I don't know if I'd say a decent amount. I've read high fantasy before, but not a lot of it. So I'm really interested in seeing how this is. Last book that I'm hoping to get through this month is Iron Fist, the book 6 in the X-Wing series by Aaron Alston. Obviously this is the next book after this one, so this is much shorter than this one. So this one's taking me forever to get through, and this one will probably be, it's actually really weird how short this is in comparison to the rest of the series. So hopefully it doesn't take as long to read. Those are the 5 books that I'm hoping to read, but school starts this month, like halfway through the month, so I'll be adjusting to that. And trying to figure out getting like back into the schedule of how I'm going to fit in everything with my classes. So we'll see how much I actually read. I'm hoping to get a good deal of reading done before school starts, but we'll see. But also, school also means that I have a lot of literature classes, and by a lot I mean 2, no. I may only actually have 1 literature class now because I think the other one got canceled. But still, I have a young adult literature class, I know for sure, and so we're going to be reading a lot of young adult books in there, and so I'm sure that will probably come in my August wrap-up, at least like one of those books, so we'll see. But I will see you guys later. Bye.